So, Coach, let me ask you, because I'm really curious to hear this. You coached in a ton of huge football games, like you said, the 9/11 game, division championship games, bowl games, you name it. What game to you? What was the biggest game you ever coached in, like in your own mind?
My own mind, without a doubt, was the Bonfire game.
Yeah.
I mean, we had so much heartache over that period of time. I could not, and they were ranked, I think, 6th or 7th in the nation. We were playing a good opponent that day.
And for people, Coach, not to interrupt you, but for people that didn't follow Aggie sports back then, the A&M Bonfire collapsed and killed 12 students, including a friend of mine, Chris Breen, who I was in the Corps with. And then we had to play a football game pretty much right after that happened. So that's what Coach is talking about right now.
Yeah. So that game, because and there was serious talk about not playing that game, and it was not my decision to make, but I did get a chance to weigh in on it, and I felt strongly that my players and the students at A&M would be better off to stay there and stay for the game and have their families come and us draw strength from each other. And we did that. But that being said, there's no way I could envision us not winning that game. I never thought that. I felt more pressure. Another way to put this, I felt more pressure to win that game than any game I ever coached, including the Big 12 championship, Southwest Conference championship, or any of those things.
And, Coach, I think all Aggies felt like that. And I think even if you were to ask, and I have tons of Longhorn buddies, and I'm sure you do too, even they would say that game ended the way it should have.
Yeah, they were good. They were good. During the week, Mac was a friend, and we talked several times during that week. The Longhorn band that day had a tribute to those fallen Aggies, and it was the way it should be. That was probably the most sportsmanship that day and that game than there was in the history of the series.
So the second to last question is this, and I'll give you my answer to this question before I hear your answer. The question is, what do you want your legacy to be as a coach and human being? And to me, from my perspective, and I think I'm speaking for thousands of Aggies, your legacy will be, number one, a man of character and a man of integrity, and number two, a damn good football coach. But what do you want? Like, if you could write your own legacy, what would you want people to remember Coach R.C. Slocum for?
Well, I think you pretty well summed it up. First and foremost, to say he was a good guy. He was a good man. I don't know if you saw the movie Saving Private Ryan.
Sure.
And at the end of that thing, there was he was getting to come home, and his question, have I been a good man?
Yeah.
I never have forgotten that, and that's something that we should ask ourselves, and that would be, to me, I'd like to say, yeah, he was a good man. And I took pride in being a good coach. I took pride. I love coaching, and I took pride in that. And so a good father, good husband. And, but that comes under the good man. If you're doing that, the good man takes care of all those things. But and the relationships with the players still comes under that, I think. But I've been so blessed. I'm 75 years old now, and
you look great.
I got another good one for you. That backdrop of that picture you have there.
Yeah. This picture.
You know where that came from?
Where'd that come from?
That's my first game as a head coach.
I thought that was. I'm so glad you said that. So for people that are listening on the podcast that are not watching on YouTube, I've got a backdrop with Coach Slocum when he looks like he's about 30 years old. He's got all his hair. Look at that.
Yeah, I was fired up. We were playing. We hadn't beaten LSU in a long time. That was my first game, and we're there. I think there were 6 or 7 in the nation, something like that. So within probably a minute and a half, however long it takes to do the coin toss, of running out there on that field, but they kicked off. We deferred. They They won the toss and they deferred. So they kicked off to us. Larry Horton ran it back about 90 yards for
I
a
remember
touchdown.
that.
So my first play as a head coach of the A&M was a 90-yard touchdown against LSU. And we beat them, I think, 28-13 or something like that.